Okay, welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned for a little break. Now we go on to Zavi's question. Zavi, what were you going to ask?
Yes, so the question that I had for you is, why do you think it's acceptable for lesbians, to be intimate as compared to males?
Because I think I believe it's the thrill, it's the excitement. Yes. Men are enticed by seeing two women get at it, be intimate with each other. And it's a thrill because they always feel that they can join or they want to join. It's all about the tease and the excitement. That's what it's all about. Nothing more.
Having the here.
All right, guys, you see another
Thank
round
you,
of drinks
Aliyah.
coming.
Thank you.
And our sponsors for this beautiful event. So stay tuned. We have a lot to show you afterwards, so don't go nowhere. But it's true. I mean, come on, man.
It's a thrill. It's the thrill. It's the excitement. It's the sexual tease and the sexual pleasure that comes out of it. It is.
I mean, I thought about it a few times in life. Two women getting, because lesbians already, they fine already. Fine.
And it's not, no, it's not just, it's women on the whole. It's not just about lesbians being fine, it's women.
Yeah.
It's women. So a man seeing two women getting at it, of course they'll be aroused and they'll
Men
be.
actually think that's okay though. Even if they would say, I want a man actually, join in if I can. But there are some guys who will be like, nigga, this one works out, but I just find it strange. So many people would just talk about how lesbians are like, when it comes to that LGBT community thing, they're just that lesbians are just those people they rather just pay more attention to, as opposed to those gays and those trans actually integrate each other.
How about
That's what we used to as well, just the lesbians and the gays. Modern people, that's all they used to. Like, for instance, that's what our parents would tell you, that they know Misese Makume or whatever. They have their own names, these Creole names. So that's all they knew. And then we came
and we
with
brought
the
this
trans
yeah.
and so it's a lot to take in.
And that's why I think education is very important as well. Sensitizing the public on the various issues, various terms, these things are very important. And that's why I speak about comprehensive sexuality education, not just teaching about lesbian, gays, trans in school, but the comprehensive human rights aspect of it. Because education plays a very important role. And in our society, it will take a very, very long time. Really? As much as we continue to advocate and speak out and lobby behind the policymakers, the government, whoever the powers be. But yes, education is important, but religion plays an even bigger role in that.
Superheroes are a big part, especially for our young boys. When you watch a superhero, you'll be like Superman, Batman, Green Lantern, these things. And then to hear, probably a gay version of Superman is going to be created. Nobody wants the thought of the Man of Steel probably taking steel. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm going to say it like it is. Because when you think of any superhero, the first one that comes to mind is usually Superman. My cousin was a big fan of Spider-Man. He had Spider-Man painted on his ceiling. And then now to find out that these companies are creating LGBTQ versions of that. Now, if as a parent now, Macrina, how would you feel?
But to be honest, at my son's age, I wouldn't want him exposed to these things. Because whatever they see, they emulate.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Whatever they hear, they will repeat. All right? So we need to be very careful what we introduce to our kids. If when he gets older, that's the path he wants to take, to be honest, I'm going to embrace my son. I wouldn't disown my son. But as of now, let my son enjoy being a child.
So let me ask you a question though, that just came to mind. If, for example, your son, he's 6, 7, playing with his cars, whatever, and you realize that he's playing more with feminine dolls and he's into makeup, how would you take that on?
That's why I'm saying to you, it's all based on what they see. You know why I would tell you that? When you mentioned the makeup aspect, my son sees me applying makeup and he's 3. he would come and take the brush and do the exact same thing that I am doing. So at that point in time, he has some understanding. So it's up to me to say to him, this is not for you to play with. This is for mommy.
No, well,
You get what-
I
you
dis-
know-
I disagree, because at the end of the day, I feel like we have to move away from these societal norms, okay? And you know, girls are supposed to be seen and not heard, and blue is for boys, and I don't agree with that.
The blue
So
for
if-
boys, the
Yeah,
pink
but
for
it-
girls. I don't believe
Yeah,
in that,
but
because
it-
I dress my son in pink. It's a color, right?
Yeah, but
it's a
then-
mindset for people. But
But
I
it comes
will
down to the
still-
same thing, that if
I
you
will
think, if you,
still say children emulate what they see. You need to be very careful. I mean, this is my future, and I could tell you need to be very careful the things that you do and the things that you say around kids.
Yes.
That's why for me, I don't believe a gay couple should be raising a child.
absolutely disagree.
Honestly,
How come
I
so?
absolutely
I
disagree.
don't, because
I absolutely disagree.
why would you tell a child that it's okay for her or him to have two fathers? Or why would you tell a child he or she would call a male mommy and the other spouse daddy? To me, it's confusing for a child. I mean, that's how I see it.
But you
Somebody
see-
might see it wrong, but to me, that is confusing as hell.
But you see, when you have that child growing up, you may not need it. Again, it depends on your parenting style, okay? Because if I have with my partner and I choose to have a child, I may not, maybe from a baby, I may not necessarily tell a child at 2, 3 that's they might just look at it as, you know, a friend or whatnot. As the child gets older, I will start to explain to the child what is happening in the household.
It's still too much on a child, because remember, they go to school, they go to daycare, they will see, okay, Toya's mommy is dropping her off, or her father is dropping her off. You know what used to happen with my son? There are days when I would drop him off and he would tell me he wants his father to pick him up. Okay, so they see and they understand.
But that's where I said your parenting skills and what you tell your child, what you teach your child at home.
But you mentioned
Because I remember one time I lived before, I had a roommate, and her daughter, we never had the conversation with the daughter. Then again, what you write in,
How old was that child?
You write on the fact that what they see or what they hear. Because I'll tell you why. I sort of like raised her like her mother. And she's always around me because her mom works in the hotel, so she's always around me. And one day I picked her up, my partner and I picked her up from school. She's going to take preschool. And she was walking up the steps, and my partner gave me a kiss on the lips, and I didn't realize she turned back because she was already walking up the steps and we were down. So she never said anything to me, but she told her mommy that, is it okay for Auntie Jessica to kiss such and such on their lips? I think at that point she was already recognizing things. And her mommy spoke to her, her mother told her, you know, broke it down and said to her, well, the same way, you know, Auntie Jessica, mommy has friends and mommy can kiss you on her lip, on your cheek, on your lip. Auntie Jessica has a friend, and Auntie Jessica's friend is telling her goodbye, so she gave her a kiss. So you see, it's how you explain the language that you use. But over the years, she realized that something was up. And when she went to infant school, I think after a friend of mine called me and said to me that, why is so and so telling the children that Auntie Jessica is gay, likes girls in the class? Her daughter came home and said that to her. So I said, what? And she said yes. And she said, so I went to her and I said to her, you told the children in the school? And she said yes. I told the children that Auntie Jessica likes girls, and one of them said yak. And she took on the child. She defended me because
that age
I think
is
it's
too
because
much.
she was always seeing me in the activist mode. She was always hearing the conversations, and her mom, we were very open with her, and she kind of like understood it. So she stood up in the fact that she was telling the child that if you cannot accept Auntie Jessica for who she is. I do not want to be your friend because you're hating. So I think it's how what you teach them, what you tell them. Again, age appropriate language.
I feel like also with the example that you gave, I feel like a father is also a big part in the development of this story, because let's say, okay, your son sees you doing your makeup, he wants to do it too, and the father is there and says, hey,
Exactly.
we're doing that.
Exactly.
We're doing-
And
come
that's
here.
what the
You
male
understand?
figures around him does.
Or what if mommy has now moved on with a woman, but daddy is still in the life? Will that make any difference? Because at the end of the day, mommy doing her thing, but you still have your dad in your life to teach you the basic concepts of sexuality and these type of things. If you decide to do that when you're 16, 17, 18, that's up to you. That's up to you. But the fact is that a father does have a role, even when we look at this sexual movement that we have in our young people understanding that. But one thing that I want to discuss, Jess, is your growth in this movement. When you started, when you emerged from this cocoon of bondage, how did you feel coming out? Like, what was it like going before, during, and after the process of you coming out and finding out who you were? Very interesting. I have to take a
Very.
second.
I've never been asked this question though.
Because everybody has a different journey. Some
Yeah.
would start this and feel like, my God, I want to rip out every single hair on my head. Boy, I don't know what to
It
do.
was when I first started. I will go back to from my younger days, from a child. I started to experience these feelings. For the life of me, I did not know what was the word lesbian. I didn't know anything about this. However, I will give kudos to my aunt. I lived with my aunt growing up, and my aunt is but she's retired now, so she was a sexual education, she was a nurse, and she also did sexual education. So she'd go to the school, she'd go to community town halls, everything, and do talks on sex and condoms and STIs and all this. So it was always around me in the house. However, the term lesbian, gay, I was not hearing these things, but I knew about, I at 10, 9, at 10, 9, 11, 12, 13, I knew what a dildo was. I had a vagina on the table at my home. I knew seeing my auntie putting on condoms, demonstrating how the penis is supposed to go in the vagina. So I knew all of these things. But I never knew what it was to be gay and all of that. When I went to secondary school, I started having more feelings. I started developing, those feelings were getting stronger. And I was like, what is happening to me? Is this real? Like, I was confused. Because at the time, I liked boys, but I never found myself really engrossed in wanting to be with a guy. I've been with guys, I've been with men, but I've never had that emotional attachment to a guy. A guy has never given me a goop well. That's how serious. A man has never given me a goop well.
But a woman has.
But a woman will. I will have the hottest of heartbreaks for a woman. I want to die. A man has never given me that butterfly feeling where I want to die for him. No. Never.
We'll have seen.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But that
Never.
also brings that question.
Something really wrong.
Because right now men want to be pampered. I guess that's why.
Well,
Would you say pamper?
I will come back to that point, but let me see what I have to say. I know that a lot of young girls who switch to that side have gone through some experience with men that has led them to.
Now that's why I tell them they're wrong for that, because the women will treat you just as bad as the men, and they don't know that. And they don't know that.
So the women give equal go well.
Yes,
It's
yes, yes,
Equal opportunity.
equal opportunity
Yes.
go well.
Yeah.
yes.
So you see, men not that bad. You keep
Yes.
saying we trash.
So and
we
the
trash.
and most of the
But you know what you mean.
Really?
and a lot of I used to have a lot of experiences where a lot of young females used to come at me and tell me they want to, they sort of like want to try it. I hated that because I was at the time I was probably the most open person in St. Lucia. So everybody now trying to experience their sexuality. So they want to come at me, and I'm not for that. I'm not about that life. I am who I am, and I live my truth. at the end of the day, yes, I have had men in the past. I've been with men, but it has never gone. Every time I'm with a man, I've left him for a woman. Every single time.
Another thing for me, if you say you're interested in a female, you're interested in women, why do they try to be like men or dress like men yeah, because to me,
Well, again, it's the identity. It's the identity.
if that's what you're attracted to, I'm expecting to see two beautiful or ladies out there. And,
Well,
and
it's
being
your perception, and there are different. There are studs, there are lipstick lesbians, there are dykes, there
reason this shit.
yes. So it's your identity. It's your expression, your self-expression. So if you feel like you're masculine, you're very masculine, you would want to dress that way. That doesn't mean that you want to be a guy, because there are masculine representing women that are very feminine. They may appear masculine.
Because that's what people tell you.
They may appear masculine,
into
but
women, why do you want to dress like a man?
it's all about the identity.
I just have two problems with the lesbians. My first problem, and it's going to be a joke, but I'm going to say it. My first problem is, why always the finest women the one that turn into the lesbians? I'm sorry, I'm going to say this shit like this. You ever had a homegirl who's like the homie, and then she put on a dress and you're like,
Dog, you were not dressed, dog?
you have a dress, dog, and you looking real nice there, boy. And then after that, she dating a woman that just as fine. It's kind of like, yo, you ever thought about converting back?
People say the same thing about guys.
Oh, that's weird. No, I'm sorry. I'm not conversation.
Women tell you the same thing. When they see them, they're like, okay, this handsome young guy, he's gay.
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe. But then some of them live a double life. And that's
the dangerous part of it.
That's crazy.
That's the
I
dangerous.
mean, it's not healthy.
And again, you see, those living the undercover gays, I can't fully blame them because of society, the society we live in, who is not accepting, who don't have laws to protect, who thinks that it's still very taboo. So they often feel that they have to hide their true self.
I think the biggest issue with that in particular is most of those guys who actually they're undercover gay are those people who give off this macho, that kind of, I'm like, bro, dog, it wasn't just with talking to the fellas about that one girl, and now I hate you. Or so and so say, or he say, or that man that does don't ever say you doing that, or I see you in a video. So that's the reason as to why I would think most of them would stay, a little in the shell. Like, you don't want to come out and see.
But not only that,
This movement.
Yeah, it is. There is a lot of pressure from everything, from all aspects. Your job, your family, your friends, society in general. There's a lot of pressure, and that's why some of them choose to remain in the closet. Some of them choose to leave St. Lucia, to migrate, so that they can be their true self. They can live their authentic self. And it saddens me that sometimes when they call me and tell me, Jessica, boy, I'm about to dip out, I'm about to go. And I tell them, I give them my blessing. I tell them at the end of the day, go out there and live your life, because you cannot live it in St. Lucia. You feel, like you're stuck, you're in a shell, you don't have any supports, and you can't really get a job, you're discriminated at your job, people looking at you. Go out there and find yourself and live your truth.
But how can we go out there and find ourselves when we realize that most of the Eastern Hemisphere, from Asia, Africa, and going on, is already saying hell no?
Well, you will
Africa,
not. Africa. Well, if you look at the news, we just saw where Ghana, I think, and now about to pass the legislation that you can be imprisoned just for identifying as LGBT.
It's so
crazy.
Well, what they say, if you're born as a boy, you're supposed to remain a boy, and if you're born as a female, you're supposed to remain as a
That
female.
also brings up a question that I really want to ask. As a biological woman, and you say, okay, a man wants to become a woman, would the community see that transgender woman as equal to a biological woman, like a lesbian?
The community?
Yes.
Yes. However, there are some persons in the community who don't like there are studs who don't really like very feminine guys. There are dynamics to it, like in the community, there's a lot of infighting as well. In the community, some persons don't like trans. They think the trans people are making too much noise.
I was about to ask
Yeah, they think that the trans people are making too much noise. There is discrimination within the community. There's a lot of classism in the community, especially in the Caribbean, St. Lucia. There's a lot of classism. If you feel that you're on the higher end of the class spectrum, you don't want to associate yourself with those at the bottom because they're too to the bottom, and you feel, okay, I'm gay, I'm protected, I have money, I live, I'm very sheltered, I'm very well kept. So there are different levels to it, and it's sad, but
Okay, now I know I say this a lot, that one thing that really bothers me is the fact that when people think of sexuality, the one word that they use is feelings. Now, when I understand the concept of feelings are temporary. They can change, they can become this, they can become that. Now, if I understand the history of women correctly, women have been oppressed for a very long time, could not vote, especially colored women who were paid bottom of the barrel. So then now for a man, let's say, okay, we have a situation where Usain Bolt says, I feel like a woman now, and he's running against Julian Alfred. Is that fair? Though we look into this world and the community says, okay, we see you as a woman, we see you as equal to a woman, is it fair that the transgender wants to compete with the biological woman, and when they beat the biological woman, they say that's the fastest woman alive? The same way we had Bruce Jenner on the cover of a magazine. The same way now we have transgender women say, I understand how you feel, sister, but they don't go through the period cramps, they don't go through the pushing of the child, they don't go through all of the things that biological women go through, because even lesbians still has to go through women biological issues. So now that you see this happening now, for instance, there's a case where if a transgender man who was a woman has a child now, who gets to sign mother and father on the birth certificate? Who gets to? And these type of situations are becoming mentally exhausting. These situations are becoming, I'm not saying that, we're going to disrespect people. Everyone has the right to live their lives. Everyone has the right to be who they are. But we also have to understand that biological vagina is not the same as artificial vagina. I'm not going to lie and say that it's not the same.
It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot to take in. We understand the L's, the B's. We understand that completely. I love the L's. I think they're fantastic. I watch them for days, hours, weeks, no food, fasting. I don't care. I will watch. The B's and the G's been there since Sodom and Gomorrah period. We understand that.
I have a question to ask.
But the D's, pre-surgery and post-surgery, there's pre-surgery transgender, there's post-surgery transgender. It not only becomes confusing, but then now it makes us question, like, I don't want to have to ask you what your pronouns are, to be honest. Like, I go to a nice woman and I have to ask you, what's your pronouns, or what were you, or what are you? Are you a biological woman? Because as a straight man now, you have to imagine you sleep with that person and you find out that Denisha was Derek.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. They don't say anything. Imagine you.
I think you need to disclose it. I believe
after that they find out, hey, this is what you really and truly are. Most times they don't say anything.
I believe that you need to disclose your identity. I believe if you go in to date somebody, you meet somebody, yeah, maybe the first 1-2 times you might not say, but if you're going to get into intimate with that person, you need to disclose it, because again, you're putting yourself in a lot of harm.
Do you believe that someone can be of the LGBTQ community and still be Christian?
Absolutely.
But will society allow it? I don't think.
So well,
People not allowed.
In our society in St. Lucia, I've never been to a church where I'm not allowed. I mean, people see me there. You come to church. When they see me come, first thing, oh my God, I'm so happy you come to church. Oh my God.
Yeah, because they believe that the minute she walks into the church,
you're gonna change. You're gonna change.
Turn into what I don't know.
No, but it kind of shows the hypocritical nature of Christianity. Like, you talk so much about Sodom and Gomorrah, that if you're gay, you're going straight to hell, and then she walks in the church and it's kind of like,
but
oh my God, welcome, hallelujah, going. I don't know people who talk in the church and they backstab you.
Yeah,
you know those. Yeah. It says a lot.
Because they believe when she walks in, she's going to repent. She's going to see it as
praying the gay away,
and say, you know what, I'm gonna wash you and you're gonna be cleansed. And
I always believe that the Most High looks at your heart, looks at you as an individual. Your sexuality has nothing to do whether you enter the kingdom of God or not. That's just my take. I believe that God will continue to bless me because I'm a good person. I favor the Lord. He has always been on my side. I don't think that because I'm gay that God is going to not bring blessings to me.
Or
I've
not hear
never,
your
or not
prayers.
hear my prayer. I have never had this experience. If God doesn't give me something in life, or the Most High doesn't give me something in life, it's because it's not for me, and He doesn't want it to be a part of my life.
And I think that's a very good point. I feel like we always forget that God chooses not those on the highs, but those on the low. If you watch everybody in the Bible, nobody was ever really a king. They became a king, they became a queen, they became an anointed, they became a prophet, and they were the lowest of the bunch, you know? So I think that when we really watch this concept of LGBTQ and the church, we usually forget that these people are human beings. So what if somebody is gay, but they've done so much good for the world, and somebody who's on the altar praising, sleeping with how much women
Oh
in the church?
yes, oh yes.
And it does happen, and it has happened. But we want to glorify the pastor who wants to condemn people, but forget that those who are condemned are building and glorifying people. So
No,
then now we're
but,
saying you're not going to get into church, and I'm going to say stay tuned for our Easter episode there, because we're definitely going to be talking about religion and church. But really and truly, I have a stupid question. I have a very, very stupid question, and it falls into these categories.
No question is stupid, eh?
I've heard this issue on the radio that a woman wrote into the radio station, wrote into the program, and says that her boyfriend is not gay, but he enjoys having sex toys used on him. What is your perception?
I
of
remember that.
Right? Like, what is your perception of that? I'm just asking because.
Honestly, for what Donald probably like I want to.
He's probably, I mean, there are people like that. Or unless if I can't speak for him, I really don't know, but there are people, we're something called MSM, men sleeping with men. They don't identify as gay, however, they love to sleep with men, they enjoy the acts. So they may not necessarily identify as a gay man, but they enjoy the act, they enjoy the sexual stimulation that they get from sleeping with a man. So her partner or her boyfriend probably just enjoys the stimulation that he gets from the anus, from the behind, the anus, the prostate is there, so there's a nice stimulation.
So basically,
And they're taking it all in, because
Yeah, but nothing's
but
wrong with that.
there are women who question themselves, and they ask, okay, this is the aspect of sex that my partner likes, he prefers, and they question and they ask themselves, is my partner gay?
Yeah.
No, but this brings another part to
And
my
gay men would
question.
tell you, if that's the only thing that
that's
your
the only thing
partner likes, then you need to question.
Yeah, you need to question.
It means that
wait, you're telling me
he's not sure about what
So
type.
there's a whole other set of
You
alphabets
will enjoy
associated
the
with something
act
not
of
gay, but you still sleep with men.
you enjoy the
Jesus,
act of gay, but we're not
The sexual act.
the sexual act of gay, but he doesn't identify as a gay.
Zabi, the math,
Yeah.
not mathing,
Yes.
it's math of magie. Zabi.
I like that one. Math of magie.
Now, part two of my question is simply this. Okay, is there a difference between sex and sexuality? Because you said that there are men who like sleeping with men, but they don't identify as gay.
But yeah,
Is that part of the movement as well?
the sex, yeah.
So what anything if that's
No.
that's just me, but I don't know how you guys see it. But for me, if they do not, how are you?
It's just the
Yeah.
thrill of
So if you have a girlfriend and
So it's
she
like
wants
an
to try this,
aphrodisiac.
are you going to look at
Yeah.
yourself as being
it's just
gay?
like a freaky aspect of
If she wants
wants
to,
to
yeah.
do it before, like bring a girl into the bed or so, or maybe.
Threesome, that's something that's always
so
allowed.
why can't
That's some-
okay? So why can't the man do it?
But I think it's something based on society, because when we think of threesome as a man, you think of two
girls.
women. A straight man will never say two guys and one girl unless you're in the porn industry, but you're getting paid for that. But no man would just sit there and say another fella. And
Well, actually, yeah, they would, but how often would you see that though?
as a man, you would agree to that, my G?
Oh,
I take two vaginas and my dog, and we're going to rock and roll. Let's see how that works out for the night. But it's
So no. But then if your girl wants to try it out, you gonna be
Exactly.
I'll be gone.
oh my god.
Try it in your dream. Again, sexuality. I like women. That's how it is. That's how it is. I like women. But at the same time, I'm not going to judge you if you have your
And
aphrodisiac.
isn't it she like fellas too, so she would try two fellas there.
But this has been a very, very interesting episode. I think we need to have Jessica back again. But
Absolutely.
before we go, we also want to wish a very happy belated birthday to the man behind the camera, the legendary Kurt. He's at the helm of all of our productions, you know, so he's the one leading us. You want to say big up to Tony? I will have to buy Tony some more drinks. I know Tony enjoyed them drinks. I cannot say that brand because they're not a sponsor yet, but when they become a sponsor, I'll have all the brands on the table. We want to thank the lovely Jessica St. Rose with us.
Thank
She's
you
an
so much.
activist.
Thank
She
you so
is
much.
a devoted person when it comes to the move, and she's a bacchanalist. If you see on the bum wall, take a picture.
The wall that they call the gay wall.
5, 8, and it's painted in rainbow again. Eh?
Yes.
It's painted in rainbow. If you see her tats,
Carnival is color. Carnival is color. Carnival
But
is
people, that's to tell you the mindset of people.
Yes.
People didn't see that way. That caused a whole bunch
whole
of drama
rupture,
when
yeah.
they painted that wall. The colors they chose to paint
What's
the
crazy is
wall.
that there's literally a wall right next to it with paintings with all different colors, and nobody actually made a comment on that wall, but just that.
I don't know
You know,
what
I
caused
never
it.
saw an issue. When I saw the wall, first thing I thought of, Carnival is all about color.
but perception,
Right?
our
But-
level of perception in this society is so ignorant. Like I said, we are a heavily religious society, but even religion has a form of manipulation.
Selective religion. Selectively, yeah? We want to be religious. Selectively.
and colonially. Because
Yes.
as slaves,
Who
as
that fit?
slaves,
Where is it?
our
End
form
of
of
story.
religion
So-
has been beaten into us. But again, that part about emancipation episode, I'm not going to go into that. But as we close this episode, we want to thank everyone. We want to thank Bamboos. We will be taking you on a little journey around this place after, a little short clip so you guys can see it. And, links in the description if you want to come and visit this place, have your weddings, have your ceremonies, have your outings, everything here. Make sure you follow Harrow Studios on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. And you can check out all of us here on social media. Official Harrow. Jazzy, give yours.
Jazzy.
Zavi.
Once I can, but I'm
Getting old.
The real Jess Rose and at Pride S758 Pride. Yeah, or Pride SLU. Yeah.
But don't worry, we'll have the
Yeah, it will be at the bottom. But the real Jess Rose. The real Jess Rose. There's only one, the real Jess Rose.
The one and only.
one and only. This is Harrow Studios. We're doing it real. We have another show coming soon, so stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Bamboos once again. Let's give a round of applause for Bamboos and their wonderful location.
And look out for St. Lucia Pride. St. Lucia Pride, I want to plug that in there a minute. St. Lucia Pride is going to be very big this year. We have some international drag queens coming out to St. Lucia for St. Lucia Pride this year. If you know RuPaul Drag Queen, then expect big things for St. Lucia Pride this year. That's all I'm going to say. RuPaul Drag Queen. Thank you very much.
You heard it here from-
In August.
in August. You heard it from the store. And June is also Pride Month.
Yes.
So there's going to be a lot of activities there for those of you interested in knowing more. Link with Jessica. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Empress. I know you overseas. We love you. Big up Spud. I know you can't be here today, but bro, big up you. Make sure you check out his latest video. And from us at Harrow Studios to you, have a wonderful day. Laters.